Hey everyone, so last week we had the video showing where a job was canceled because of the cracks on the crossarm. We had to disconnect service feeding a house that's going to be demolished. A few viewers were asking if I could grab a couple shots of the job once we make repairs to that crossarm. I don't have a whole lot of coverage on it and I really don't have time to do any editing this weekend, so we're just going to roll straight through it from my phone, see how that turns out. But what we're looking at here, the boys are just checking for potential, checking for voltage. The line is now isolated. I do have the power shut off and they're getting ready to install their grounds and go to work. So I'm going to back things up a bit and jump over to this photo here. This is a picture of the cutout on the main road. That's the disconnect we use to shut power off. You can see there's no fuse. There's actually a copper solid door that's rated for 300 amp. And it does have an arc chute, so it is an arc, or it is a load busting rated cutout, so we didn't have to use the load buster. And one of the habits I've been trying to, or I mostly do now whenever I open a switch, is I'll take a snap of it from the ground using my phone, and I can zoom in and really get a good look at the porcelain to see if there's any cracks before opening that. Also, you're probably wondering that copper lead, how it's got a strand kind of wrapped back around itself. 4/0 copper, especially these older cutouts, the attachment in the bottom of the cutout, it doesn't really fit that well. So somebody, I guess, probably kind of got lazy. You can see this one, it fit no problem. So they missed a strand, just wrapped it back. Shouldn't really do that, but it's not really going to hurt anything either. On the high voltage side, we have some ACSR, looks like 266 MCM attached to that 4/0 copper, feeding the source side of the cutout using an AMPAC connector. That's one of the best connectors on the market for high voltage. So we opened the line. The total interruption was only about an hour. And there's another crew. The guy on the right, you can see the green hard hat. Some people were asking about that. That is an apprentice. That's part of the reason also that I didn't go up and film the entire job. We wanted to get some real good exposure. And first time working with this apprentice, he did really great. I didn't have to give him a whole lot of feedback at all. So moving on, you can kind of see our work area here. We do have traffic control up around the corner. We got the sidewalk blocked off and allowed for the pedestrians walking down the sidewalk to walk out and around the job site. Whenever that did occur, we would stop and kind of walk them around the job site safely. So once the line was grounded and the permit was in effect, the boys were able to work leather glove and chainsaw without using insulated sticks. They first cleared up quite a bit of the trees around the work area. While they were doing that, I removed the meter and got the readings off it. I also got some good shots for a future video. I'm not going to go through this whole stretch, but we can see here, I'm just kind of showing them some things. We'll see that in a future video where I'm going to cover what to do for basically siding guys, home rental repairs, how to work around the electrical entrance. Moving around into the yard of the house, we can see real good shot of the crack on the crossarm, and we've converted over now to fiberglass crossarms. We don't, however, have any 5-foot fiberglass crossarms. They are all 8 foot in length. This is compact construction, so we'll be using these side post insulators. The boys decided it would be easier to frame the pole first with the side post insulators, and then they will simply be able to lift those faces off by hand and drop them right down onto the insulator. So you can see here they've got one almost in place and it almost lines up perfectly with that wire. So it'll be a real easy transition. They won't have to put the wire carrying jib head on. So everything's pretty well transferred now. Pretty straightforward. It wasn't worth documenting through that whole thing. Lift the faces off, and we changed all 3 insulators as well. They got that done in like 25 minutes. So we wanted to clear up some of the vegetation. You can see the work area is cleared up really well, but this, whatever it is, a spruce tree or whatever, it's going to be a problem someday. So I just told the boys, hey, anything you can reach with that truck that could be a hazard in the coming years, let's take care of it now while we get the power out. We spent an extra 15 or 20 minutes getting rid of some of the vegetation. A lot of comments on the channel in general comment about the vegetation. And one thing I do got to say, our vegetation crews, we've got dozens of them working every single day around the province, cleaning a lot of stuff up. And it's equivalent in our province. There's so many trees. It's such a green province. It's equivalent to trying to mow your back lawn with a pair of scissors. By the time you get done, it's all grown up where you started. So it's a never-ending battle. This line is in pretty good shape. Driving the line, there's only a couple spots where there's some issues. So we take the whole top right off that. You can see we took the top off of several other of those evergreen trees as well. Boys are kind of clearing up there. You can see a few more branches up around the tree face. So they did clear all that up. And just kind of a shot of the work area. We still left our grounds on, our trip grounds on, while they were working on the trees. You can see the new insulators in place. They redid the connections, changed the tap clamp on that cutout as well. Pretty much brought everything up to snuff that was a concern at all in that structure. Moving forward over in the other area, you can see here, if you look real close, you see on the conductor, there's a good one right there, that black spot. That's the spot where it was arcing over to one of the branches. So there's a couple burn marks. Middle of the night, it's just the leaves touching. It's not something that's going to catch fire, but it does kind of burn off, and it looks like little fireflies when it's late at night. Pretty good reach with this boom. I think it's a 55-footer. So they're out knocking off as far as they can reach. Here's a shot of the crossarm here. You can see it's in much worse shape than it looked from the ground. That crack is going through right to the center bolt, even across to the roadside. It's a job that could have been done hot. We could have rubber gloved this pole, but it wasn't. We were able to isolate and minimize the outage. It's just much safer to do under a work permit. If this line was feeding, let's say, a hospital or something like that, we would have taken the time to do the entire job hot. It was a very short outage as well. So you can see there wasn't much life in that crossarm at all. Most of this stretch, everything's been fully repaired. I'm not sure why that pole never got touched. I do want to show you guys this part. See in the end, this is the end that was on the mainline pole. And this is some of the feedback I gave to the apprentice when he cut that off. You always want to cut on the bottom side of the wedge clamp. So right, I'm just going to zoom in, let's say right about here. And when you cut that off, all those frayed ends, this is the telephone wire actually, but all the frayed ends, they're not going to get caught in the grass and the debris and stuff. So here's the triplex. He cut that down before dropping the trees and left the ends and the old wedge clamp on. So when I go to coil this guy up, there's a ton of weight on that chunk of tree. So I'm just going to grab the triplex and pull it through, and the end's getting hooked on all the little branches and everything. So just a good practice when you're dropping wires. Cut all that stuff on the end. You can really get a good shot here. All that stuff in the end that gets tangled up. So the boys got everything pretty well cut now. It looks worse than it is from on the ground. That other branch is down below the 3-phase. So the job's complete now. We're able to remove the service and get ready to close the line in. One bit of feedback I'll give here, you can see the stick location where he has it over top of the bucket. It is a good habit to position the stick outside of the bucket. So if there ever is an arc flash, you're going to have a knee-jerk reaction to pull the stick back, and you don't want that to pull back and hit against your bucket. So that's pretty much it. I did mention I'm really hoping to get that video out soon on doing work around the meter box here. We had an incident where the contractor cut the screws off and the box was floating, and it did cause an arc flash and an emergency disconnect. So I do have some great pictures of that. I'm hoping to have that video together for you guys within the next week or two. Other than that, some of you saw my quick Instagram post. It was like 5 seconds long. Here's a couple shots where this is at a school, and the school was concerned that there was birds nesting inside the weatherhead. So I think I got a shot. I was just trying to identify the bird for our head office there, because we're not allowed to destroy animal nests unless it's an emergency. So we first identified the bird, and I can't even remember what type of bird it was. Somebody mentioned it in the comments, and they were right, whatever it was. I thought maybe it was a swallow. It definitely was not. But here's the setup where they have the entrance going into the school. That looks like 4-aught aluminum on the quadrex. A very large weatherhead that was unnecessarily large. I'm not sure why they use those. But the concern from the school was that the dry grass from the nest could be a safety hazard. I assured them that there's no splices, there's no bare spots in the wire going down into the school in the LB. And there was babies inside the nest. That's why he's got a little worm in his mouth. So for that particular job, we're going to allow some time for the nesting birds to grow up and be able to leave the nest, fly on their own, at which time I will go back, remove the weather head and remove the nest, and then we'll put a bit of a cage there so that doesn't happen again. So I'm going to head off and make some supper for the fam. Appreciate you guys all watching, as always, and we'll see y'all soon.